Train your mind. Ever since the year 2000, we've lived in a world of infinite inspiration and references that we actually have access to thanks to the internet. Now, you have AI that can pretty much make a super good looking image, a piece of artwork that some disagree is even art, at the click of a button. Regardless of how this plays out though, I think it's safe to say that raw art skill is diminishing in value. And I don't mean intrinsic value, but similar to how encyclopedias are not as valuable today since we have Google at our fingertips. However, that was never a surefire way to make it into the art industry. Relying on your skills alone is tough because there's usually always going to be somebody that's better than you. Something that all of the professional artists out there share though is that they're always constantly learning and applying the fundamentals in incredibly creative and thoughtful ways. So this is what drew me to Rinotuna's artwork, for example. He always comes up with amazing and sensible designs from what seems like just one reference sometimes. But in reality, he's just a boss at character creation and ideation. Recently, he even released a course to share his design strategies with everyone. So thanks to Colosso, the sponsor of this video yet again, I was able to take his course on just that, to learn the ins and outs of how to thoughtfully design a character from scratch. Something with a narrative, a purpose, an intentional design is really what's key to making all of our favorite characters, and not just some randomly generated idea from the vast sea of the internet. Just in case you're new, Colosso is an amazing Korean learning website that has a US version with English subtitles. The artists available on their website are amazing and extremely skilled and knowledgeable. I can confidently say that I've not yet seen a large online education platform with such a high percentage of high quality, high level courses available. You really just usually find a couple good ones in a sea of pretty basic knowledge. A lot of what Rino talks about in this course are things that I remember my classmates in industrial design when I was at Georgia Tech were learning and talking about. They also provide the course notes and information for you to download and use along with the course as you're taking it. I highly recommend that you invest your time into something like this course right now instead of filling your head with all of the fear and negativity floating around out there online. This is very likely going to rob you of the chance to take action and secure a more secure future for yourself as an artist. So the three main concepts that I'm going to talk about and address from Rino's course are his design thinking, his coloring and shading strategies, and how he breaks down references. Straight out of the gate, Rino introduces us how to effectively elevate our awareness for design. He says that the best way to start out is to start out with the things that you're interested in and move on from there. So for me, it's pretty much obviously just going to be more female characters, and this time I kind of chose like a demi-hero, I guess, or anti-hero, kind of like a villain, but like that has good reasons to be a villain type of character. This is a really effective way to get past all of your mental blocks and fear of discouragement and just get over anything that might hinder you from really getting into what you're studying. Some people may even say that this is just staying in your comfort zone. But with the amount of rigor that Rino gets into to show you how to design and what he's thinking about, you're probably going to see that you don't know nearly as much as you thought you did about any of your favorite drawing subjects. Like, he goes in. So when it comes to ideating, he starts with different tiers of an idea and then thinks about his collective knowledge on the subject and creates these really cool arcing mind charts. He makes an effort to keep everything with the respective of the tiers of influence, but I just tried to do my best to let everything floating around in my mind get onto the page. I started off with this cool cyborg puppeteer character a while ago that had telekinesis or like mind control skills. But then I thought about how she would achieve those things. So I thought, well, since she's a cyborg, maybe she has like this radio technology built into her system, and she uses super thin cables to interface with her enemies from a long distance. And maybe her staff is like this radio signal tower thing itself that amplifies that. Because she's more of a ranged saboteur character, she's thin and skinny and has a small frame that's hidden by her very loose clothing. I imagine that she would be in a dry desert environment or potentially living in a wasteland where the majority of her encounters are with other machines and robots. I even thought maybe she would have extendable legs to be able to use to get a better signal and take control of a horde of enemies when she's overwhelmed. This type of thinking is exactly what makes somebody stand out to get a job, especially when you can clearly show these thoughts and this process in your work. This is what makes you get hired over the guy with perfect rendering and painting skills. Most of the time, as an artist who is working in the industry, you're creating something for a purpose, not just to look pretty. There's no value for infinite inspiration or infinite ideas, but there is an incredible amount of value in just a few ideas that do exactly what they need to do. And trust me, it still takes me way longer to get even the most popular AI software to generate anything helpful if I already have a basic idea in place. So until I can just talk to AI in plain English, it's always going to be more valuable for people to just have people that know how to do proper research and design effective concepts from a set of resources. Like if you think about it, if you just let an AI design a whole game for you, there's going to be some stuff in there that's going to get you canceled. And you're going to need somebody who can understand that, because AI doesn't understand the trends that are going on in society right now. AI doesn't understand our culture. It just steals and takes things and tries to create quote unquote new things from that. Your mind is the most valuable thing you have, and you can train it endlessly regardless of what society wants you to think about how, oh, your brain is just maxed out by like 26 or something. If you look at this slime adventurer character that Rinotuna designed, there's a slime covering the wound, which suggests that they're either feeding on him or healing him. He also has this little fairy on his shoulder that complements his like relaxed sitting position there. So it's pretty clear that he's a unique adventurer that treats non-humanoid characters with kindness. I made this assumption because of the quest papers behind him and the few gold coins and his low HP potion on the right side of the page. He's clearly a newbie who may get himself in trouble due to this kindness towards creatures that he finds innocent, or maybe that will be the key that makes him stand out above everyone else in the town he's living in. Rinotuna later goes into how to effectively use and break down references by showing his thought process for a few example characters and how he kind of breaks apart this fish into pieces that are easy to understand. It's incredible how efficient and quick he is at distilling the main shapes and elements of an object, and then how he applies those to a design. This type of skill only builds on itself because of how our brains work. We can create beautifully complex designs where everything serves a purpose, as they do in reality, by making tons of comparisons and relating different things to one another. Rhino goes into great depth about how to maximize how to use color for your designs as well. He talks about the proportions of colors and how different colors can express sensations, not just like simple joy or sadness, but like the taste of something sour or something that looks like it would be poisonous and warn you to stay away. Again, AI doesn't think like this. It just doesn't think, really. It just takes from other people's work and mashes it up into something that looks like it belongs. It just creates from this cloud of randomness that is slowly refined into something that looks appealing. A lot of times if you use AI, you'll notice that it kind of looks good around the middle stage while it's quote unquote thinking, but then it'll go off in this random direction that looks way worse than what it had before when it was blurry. Sure, you can cherry pick and find art directors who are probably satisfied with things like that, but you wouldn't want to work for those types of people anyway. Most directors are going to be looking for people who can bring this level of meaningful design to the team because it's important. Every single thing has to resonate with the viewer or else it's lost. There are so many nuances that we pick up on a subconscious level, and it's the designer's job to research and understand these things and create something that aligns with the intended vision. Near the end of the course, Rhino goes through start to finish how he actually designs a character with these strategies. My favorite part was how in-depth he goes into making these few low-effort yet somewhat detailed sketches to come up with the best design. This is something that I did as well for my puppeteer cyborg character, although not to the same level. There are so many different ways to express her personality that I haven't looked at. There's no personal decals on her armor or her outfit or her mechanical parts. I haven't really illustrated anything that shows the moment that she's in, like what her day-to-day life is like. There are so many more things I could have thought about, but I'm just going to accept that this is where I'm at right now, and in the future, it'll be easier and easier for me to create a design that's as simple and straightforward, yet beautifully detailed as Rinotuna's work. Rino pays close attention to the keyword hierarchy that he set up for himself prior and uses them for his design inspiration. This was very difficult for me to do since I'm super used to just looking at tons of reference to pick out what looks cool. This is something I think many of you probably do. Leave a comment if you also do this, but you can go so much further and actually intend for certain things to be part of who your character is or what the scenario is. I still clearly have lots of room for improvement again, but I am pretty proud of my results so far for this image compared to other characters that I've designed. As we come to the end of this video, I want to remind you that we are artists. What is so special about us is that we keep drawing even though there's no guarantee of the value for other people or that other people will see it as. If you have ever drawn in school or in public and you've heard someone say, "Man, if I could draw that good, I draw all the time," that just sucks for them. Because we decide to draw even though we aren't that good yet. We drew when we weren't at the place that we are at now, and we still enjoyed it, without guarantee and without success. And that's why we deserve the title as artists, because we did it without any guarantee. We did it because we wanted to. That's special. Most people can't do that. Most people are too scared to draw a single stick figure because they don't think it's going to be good. So to conclude, I highly suggest that you turn your attention away from all the noise out there right now and focus on reevaluating what's valuable to you and what's valuable to the people who you want to work for one day, if that's something you want to do. Work on those skills and surround yourself with others who are passionate about the same thing. Always be creating, even if someone else is doing it faster than you or better than you. Colosso has this really big holiday promotion going on right now that won't last much longer. It actually ends on December 26th by midnight PST. I highly recommend that you pick up Rinotuna's course or any other that you feel is going to elevate your design thinking skills. These are skills that I learned myself to a significant degree in architecture school for 40 grand that you can just start learning for a couple $100. So check the description for more information on the promotion, and I will see you guys in 2023. Keep drawing and please stay positive. Peace.